Okay, so this is Talkaoke Pop-Up Talk Show. Everyone's welcome to come and sit on the table of chat. It's kind of up to you what you want to talk about. We've also got carbohydrates for you. Okay, well, let's find out who everybody is first. There is a procedure to this. So now, my name's Mikey. We've got a few people, brave, intrepid people, come and help us get this going. What's your name? We don't know what we're going to talk about yet, so we'll go around to what's your name?
Sherry.
Oh, I'm turning up a little bit.
Sherry.
Sherry?
Dan.
Dan. Who have we got there on camera? Esther and
Laura. Rachel.
Rachel, welcome. My name's Mikey. So this is Talkaoke Pop-Up Talk Show. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's kind of up to you. We're just starting up. We're just firing up the table of chat on this lovely sunny Sunday afternoon. Anyway, I think people will come. You know, we'll build the conversation and people will come. That's how this works. But we don't have a subject yet. Have you got a subject for us? What would you like to talk about? Come and sit down anyway. You don't need a subject. We've got Rachel, we've got Laura, we've got Dan, we've got Sherry, and Mikey. What's your name?
Cormac.
What is it?
Cormac.
Cormac. Okay. Anyone got anything to kick off with? Any thoughts, comments, suggestions, observations, ideas? What's that?
Mixed reality, holograms.
Yeah.
Sitting in.
Do you like your reality mixed?
Yes. I always like it mixed.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go around the table. Do other people like their reality mixed? Like a mixed reality? And what is a mixed reality?
Something out of the ordinary, something that you haven't been told on a day-to-day basis, I guess.
Okay. So an extraordinary reality. What about on this side? Do you like a mixed reality? On a Sunday afternoon?
Love it on a Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I mean, how do you like to mix up your reality?
My reality is always mixed.
Is it?
Yes, I don't even know what reality is anymore.
Okay. Okay, well, I mean, we're getting very philosophical very quickly here. What is reality? That's a question on the table. Does reality only come in a mixed bag? Or can you get an unmixed reality? I don't know, what do people think? Laura, Cormac, any views on this? Do you like a mixed reality? Is it confusing, a mixed reality? Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I think your mind is capable of mixing it up whenever you need to.
Yeah. But is it capable of doing the opposite, which is unmixing it?
A heightened state of consciousness, possibly.
A kind of lucidity?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. We've got a few technical issues with this. We've lost the booster on this side, but dilithium crystals are melting. I mean, it's the opposite of the mixed reality, that a moment of extreme lucidity, that kind of clearness that sometimes you get and you were striving for.
Understand the question.
You don't understand the question? Okay, well, we've got mixed reality. We kind of know what that is. And what's that?
We also have forced reality.
Forced reality.
Consensual reality.
Okay, well, this is interesting. Come tell us a bit more about this.
That's what we get on a day-to-day basis.
So you think our reality is kind of forced upon us in a way?
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
Can you give us an example?
Everything. Everything we experience is taught how we are supposed to experience it and how it's supposed to be real.
So there's a way that we're supposed to experience reality, and that's kind of forced upon us. You're nodding as well, Laura.
I think it takes a lot of hard work to unpick it so that you can actually feel the different parts of the realities that are being pushed upon you.
Okay. So, I mean, do other people feel that our reality is forced upon us?
Reality is a consensus of everyone living in the reality.
Right.
And first thought, if you think you exist.
Sorry, say that again?
If you think you exist.
Okay. So if you think you exist,
But the reality is just only an illusion in your brain.
Okay. So reality is an illusion in our brain, but is it forced upon us? Do we have control over it? Can we ask you, what do you think about a mixed reality? Do you like a mixed reality? Yeah, I do enjoy mixed reality. I mean, do you feel that you're in this reality and illusion that's created in your brain? Is it forced upon you? Is it something that you consent to?
to describe really. It's like, it feels like really want to interact with it. So that's sort of Talkaoke. So I can't say real or not real.
Yeah.
It just makes you feel like you enjoy the experience.
Okay, so there's this question of interaction. When you interact with reality, then it feels real. It feels. I mean, but I guess it's a question of control. Come to a second then.
If you're open to suggestion, then you can influence your reality.
Are you like that? Do you feel your reality is kind of forced upon you?
Some aspects, I guess, but yeah,
I mean,
I think you can
I think-
decode.
I think Laura's confused, so we need to give some examples of how reality is forced upon you. Anyway, Dan, you were going to say something.
So I'm just mentioning experiences, just like we said, but experiences as what we feel as real.
Yeah.
So every experience is an experience.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
So it comes back to this. I think that what I think is real. You know that you think that kind of stuff. Very philosophical for a Sunday afternoon, which is fine by me, to be honest. It's kind of bringing me out of my hangover. This question of reality.
Actually, because it's Sunday, there is so the guy that imagined calligraphy,
Yeah.
Dennis Gabor, he had the idea on Easter Sunday
Right.
of creating artificial holograms.
Yeah.
And so what kind of famous thing happened on Easter Sunday?
So what did he imagine? What was?
There was a famous guy came back on a Sunday, and so this is that thing of recreating artificial moments
Yeah.
and blending them with reality. And so in the past, churches, cathedrals would have been like virtual mixed reality environments,
Okay.
kind of constructed for human beings.
All right. So a church is a mixed reality environment. Is depending on how you see it, partly imaginative, partly constructed. Yeah. But there's something about this guy came up with the idea of holography on a Sunday. It was a vision in a way.
But Easter Sunday, that's when Jesus came back.
Right.
So that was, that's just people picking up ideas
Yeah.
to create new kind of mediums. And so this is just another medium as well, which
Yeah.
could be very manipulated, or it could be used in a new symbolic way.
Okay. So the mixed realities are more easier to manipulate medium than I suppose than real reality that takes a lot of building work and stuff like that to create this building, for example. Esther, were you going to say something?
Actually, this is one more layer of illusion.
Yeah. It's just an extra layer of
The
illusion.
next layer of the illusion.
Okay. All right. Cormac, are you following this? I mean, we got.
Sorry, I think it's like maybe we relate to each other because we think we are in the same reality.
Okay.
And when someone else has a different layer of reality, you start to go, what's going on?
Okay. So, that's interesting. So we kind of, in a way, we sort of benefit from this illusion that we're all in the same reality and we're all experiencing the same thing. And when that goes, it can be a little bit discombobulating. Are you in our reality? That's what we're talking about here. Do you like a mixed reality? Come and join. We have got Cormac, we have got Esther, we have got Dan, we've got Sherry. What's your name?
Oliver boy.
Oliver Boy and
James.
James and what's your name? Kate and Mikey. We're sort of talking about mixed reality, and we're talking about actually, does that mean, what is a mixed reality? Are all realities mixed? Is it possible to have an unmixed reality? Hollow Boy over here is very much in a mixed state. But I think the thing is, it's about, there's some things about having this kind of reality that we all share, or we believe that we share, in that we feel comfortable that we're all experiencing the same thing, whereas Hollow Boy is out on his own, kind of thing. So that's where we are right now. I don't know where we're going with this conversation. We've got a new face, what's your name? Irini, we've got Kate, we've got Cormac, we've got Esther, Dan, Sherry, Hollow Boy, and James and Mikey. I don't know if you heard that summation. Did you hear the sum up? No, we're talking about mixed reality, basically, and reality in general, basically. Can we learn stuff about our usual reality from this mixed reality? I guess is the question.
The mix is Hollow Boy amidst us.
What's that?
Is that the mix? Mixed equals him.
Well, I mean, different people have got different ideas of mix. I mean, James over here, just before you joined, was talking about the idea of holograms came from a kind of vision in a church on Easter Sunday.
Dennis Gabor, that created calligraphy 76 years ago, had the idea on an Easter Sunday that you could have human beings appear, they're made from light, And so that kind of analogy, you have to kind of say, well, that's kind of been imagined in a book before.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the point is that the imagination kind of projected onto normal reality is a kind of mixed reality as well. Although not maybe as ordered as Hollywood's reality, which is kind of computer. I don't know. My job in the middle, luckily, is just to move the microphone around. I don't have to come up with anything. So, I mean, what do people think? Is that a mixed reality, the imagination?
And it's experience, it comes down to experience.
Yeah.
What we experience is what we experience.
Yeah.
Reality is just a strange idea of people who are pushing reality, so-called reality on us.
Okay.
They have something to call it, I guess.
So you're a bit sceptical about the whole notion of reality?
Yes.
Yeah?
Well, if say your imagination or your dreams are like very surreal, it's like they don't have your reality in, like usual reality in them, and that scares you. So it's like the more mixed, the less of less of this reality there is, the scarier you're naturally going to be.
Okay.
Sort of like a bad dream.
I mean, I guess you've got a coherence, haven't you, in normal reality. We've got even more. Okay, have you got a final thought?
We're all made of light all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my
Okay. We're all made of light all the time. Okay. This is Rachel, by the way. Well, I mean, if everyone else is up for it, because it's about a consensus. This is a consensual reality. Well, right now we're sort of talking. There's a few things. It's like, well, Dan is kind of saying reality is just this kind of. He's a reality skeptic. He's kind of saying reality is this idea that's been forced on us. Almost kind of. Yeah.
We are living in a forced reality.
Yeah.
Because which way is up or down. We're so influenced by what's around us.
Yeah.
Experience.
Yeah.
Experience and interact.
Okay.
For that we do need some kind of an operating system that we run as reality in our minds.
Yeah. I mean, do we need to agree on what reality is, just for the sake of getting along? Because I think you're a bit worried, aren't you, Cormac, that if we just lose this, we're going to just basically go crazy, and we're going to live, in the dream world, everything's a bit unpredictable.
Yeah, I mean, say we all have very, very nice mixed reality devices.
Yeah.
If I can erase you in my mixed reality, and you don't even exist when I'm sitting here in front of you, then when you come up to someone, and you don't even know if you exist.
Virtually ghost somebody, basically.
It's a bit scary that you could just be like, pretend something doesn't exist in the rest of your life. So.
Yeah. Okay, so you can actually use the technology to ghost people. Yeah.
Somebody else is now experiencing mixed reality. So that's the other thing, because we can talk about this, if you haven't tried it, a bit like reality, if you don't know somebody else's reality experience, how can you feel it?
I mean, there is this tacit assumption that all of our realities are the same, but we've got no way of really proving that. Maybe this helps by taking us into a different reality. Come and have a seat on would you like to share our mixed and conceptual reality? What's that?
It's the 105th chance of participating in your reality.
Yes. Well, come and have a seat. We're talking about reality. Is your reality forced upon you? That's what Dan's saying. But reality is just an illusion, a lie that we are sold. Yeah.
Like a forced consensus.
Yeah, it's a forced consensus, which is interesting.
Or a mass hallucination is being talked about. We're all hallucinating massively through chemicals in our brains, but we all control it through other substances, as well as media and things.
Okay, so we're all
Actually, right now I foresee my own reality, my projection on you without your consent.
Okay.
That's what it is.
What's that? Oh, I see. You're projecting. You are literally projecting on me. Oh wow. I mean, this is and I think this is the kind of thing that Cormac is worried about. That we are going to start to, I mean, how do we sort of negotiate the consent, and how do we negotiate when we can change our realities? We can we can ghost somebody, we can also boost somebody up by giving them extra projections and turn them into a projection surface. How do we negotiate this kind of, who says what is real, what is not real, who agrees on all of these things? If it is a mass hallucination, who's in control of this? Are we in control? These are some of the questions.
We're trying to be in control. Some more conscious people are trying to regain control and share it.
Okay, so there's a question about consciousness. If you're more conscious, maybe you can be more. You agree?
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking that my reality is taking consciousness and unconsciousness together.
Right. Okay.
This is the ideal reality.
So that's a kind of mixed reality.
Yeah,
Consciousness
and this is what I felt with this mixed reality glasses.
How does it feel to wear the glasses? Whose phone is that? Doesn't normally happen. Anyway, so how did it feel to put the glasses on?
It was like being together and being on my own at the same time.
Okay. Interesting. All right, so we've got this question of in a way, this question of connection, the assumption that we're all hallucinating the same hallucination is very important to us. And it brings a sense of togetherness, but if we think we're on our own trip, that can be very isolating as well, I suppose.
Most of the time we're on other people's trip. We're just sharing the trip, but they're in control.
Okay, so you feel like you're most of the time on somebody else's trip? I mean, let's go around the table with this one. How in control do you feel?
I feel that I can include people into my own reality by really explaining how I feel. But if I disagree with someone else's opinion of reality, then I guess that would stop me from combining with theirs. There's been many times where I feel like I'm in the same reality with someone else because I agree with what they're experiencing.
Okay. Is it just an agreement of experience, or does it go deeper? Is there sort of an agreement of outlook as well that connects you?
Yeah, I think both.
Interesting. Okay. How much in control do you feel?
More control.
Yeah. Is that because you are the kind of creator of some of this reality? Does it give you a different view of reality when you start to mix things up a little bit?
Yeah, you can. So it feels like, imagine you're directing a movie.
Yeah.
And you've all these characters there. You can just place the characters in mixed reality as your own director.
Yeah.
So you can actually film the whole event.
So you do feel a bit more in control then, okay. Do you feel in control of your reality?
I think the more and more I play around with other realities and psychedelics and things, the more and more you start to look at the world as a game and an experiment, and then it's kind of about experimenting within the game and experiment, because a lot of people don't question anything, and I think what Rachel picked up on earlier about the fake news and the project that we did with the nuns at the V&A. I think it's kind of experimenting. So this is a new way of opening people's minds, where they've just looked at a rectangular screen and maybe sort of has a bit more subconscious context, but once again it can be used to manipulate it the other way even more.
Okay, so it's dangerous but insightful, I suppose. Do you feel in control?
No, I don't feel in control.
No? Okay. In control, not in control?
It's always on the manipulates. I'm totally out of control. Yeah, I'm really especially with the control very much because they're hormones as well. So you feel you're in control and something happens and you can.
But I mean, does that give you an insight into, I guess, how much we're all kind of run by our endocrine systems, but it's only when, I guess, that changes. Does that give you a change of insight into that?
It's changing all the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like you can go out on a place, go really down, and the next thing you feel quite depressed.
Yeah.
And so your reality is again very, very different. So
Yeah. Okay.
it's like me, we live in so many realities.
Okay, so we're in a way, so we've got this physical reality is not always the same either. It can, can depend on fluctuations in hormones, fluctuations in how much alcohol is running through the blood or other substances.
It helps to listen to the same things or to look at the same thing. Well, if you want to experience a shared experience where our realities are kind of combining and joining, it always helps to listen to the same music, for example, look at the same thing, be in the same space.
So if you've got a kind of focus and everyone's looking at the same thing, in this case it's actually me, I've just realised, then everyone's connected in the same reality. Oh, well, I didn't ask, I'm still going around though, do you feel in control or not in control?
If you don't, you'll have a bad time, right? So
Okay.
you have to say to yourself,
whether you're in control or not,
control.
you have to say to yourself you're in control.
Yeah.
Okay. In control or not in control? Yeah.
I am in control of my reality.
Okay. Have I been around now? I can't remember. I'm not in control here. Okay, so where are we going to go with this conversation? Where do you want to move on to talking about this idea of what is a good focus? Is it a nun wandering around in a museum? Is it, what would be a good focus? Do we need these kind of focus points to be able to share our reality? Apart from this Talkaoke table, what are good things that we can all focus on and agree on? Do we need to all agree? I think
this is definitely a really good idea of connecting people. And yeah, so we kind of need one of these.
Okay, so
We need to be talking properly.
okay.
We've created the opposite on our Solutions on TV project, that we put people from different continents at the same time. It's 3:33 p.m. every Wednesday. Connect them into a little talk show that only exists on the internet.
Right, okay.
But we're going out on every social media live at the same time.
3:33 and what time?
London time. London calling, because this is London.
Right.
And then 3:33 p.m. in every country, in every region, they can do their own regional one, and it feeds into the global one, which is like the global.
So you've got an online talk show?
Yeah, it is. It was kind of a freak accident how it happened like this, but it's really cool because it's decentralized completely. People who feed into the talk show, they co-create it and they can share their screens and talk about what they're doing.
Right.
And we're running a Zoom conference link on one computer, another computer, and the virtual machine is broadcasting it on different platforms. And the host, like you, is God knows where, somewhere on his phone, basically hosting all these other people coming in from China, from Brazil, whatever, to the show.
Wow, sounds great.
It's the opposite of this, and still it does the same.
Okay. Sometimes the opposite can have the same effect in a way. Okay, interesting. It's good. I'm definitely going to check that out.
Solution Zone TV. So Solution Zone TV on Facebook.
Yeah.
But we're going to go out on Twitter and on YouTube. We're trying to include all the platforms where you can be. You have to be on every platform these days, because there's no one proper platform that we can say that this is the new way and this is the best social media. So we always end up on Facebook in the end. Yeah. So we realize, okay, screw it, we're going to go out on Facebook Live, but we're also going to broadcast on YouTube, and then we'll add every other platform that we have.
So you do. I mean, in a way, it comes back to this kind of multiple churches thing. And like when we've got the one church, everyone can all agree on the same reality. You know, everyone agrees, and then that's nice. Everyone feels comfortable. But when you've got lots of churches or lots of social media platforms as well, then you start to get a kind of dissonance.
It's Aldous Huxley who kind of wrote Brave New World. He also did a book called The Perennial Philosophy, where he looked at all the religions and he looked into these places where people would go and congregate to be controlled, and because it was about giving people belief systems within this, you know, because the churches were probably the original banks that then was becoming more hyper capitalism. So there is a kind of trail if you look at the people that studied this stuff of control, originally through religion, and now it's coming more through consumerism.
But I mean, it sounds like we kind of need this control to feel that we're in control. So it's kind of got the church or whatever it is might be controlling us. Give us a final thought before you go.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. But I mean, do we need to be controlled to feel like we're in control? Do we need this kind of church or this kind of common agreement on our reality to feel kind of that we're not losing it? And if, you know, you've joined the Talkaoke table at an interesting time. It's got a bit philosophical. We're kind of talking about reality, but also the need to be in control of our reality, but not quite in control. And what about the forces that are kind of shaping our reality, like the church, like the social media platform? If we've got different kind of things that got a kind of dissonance. Is basically where we are. We've got Cormac, we've got Dan, we've got Sherry, we've got Hollerboy, we have got James and Irini and Rachel, and what's her name?
Roman. Roman.
Roman.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. And I'm Mikey. So that's where we are right now. I mean, where do we want to go with this? Do we need these things, these kind of overarching systems of thought, of power, just to keep ourselves sane? Do we need the people telling us what to do? That's what Aldous Huxley was essentially saying, wasn't he? Well, not really.
No, he just looked at all of the religions and found that most of the commandments in the religions are quite similar. And then also, like I said, the places like churches where you had stained glass windows, gold, and smoke, and people singing became very hypnotically controlling realities.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a poor, starving kind of peasant, and then you go into a church, it was a kind of different kind of experience for them.
Right, so that was the original kind of mixed reality.
Some people have compared it to that, in certain kind of writings.
Okay. So, Roman, you got a point? Just listening intently.
The question is whether do we need to feel in control?
I mean, I actually went around the table and asked people if they felt like they were in control. Some said yes, some said a little bit. Cormac said we have to, whether we're in control or not, we have to believe we're in control. Otherwise,
So it makes me think of, I read Nietzsche recently, and there's a good quote from him. I think the question is whether are you able to be not in control?
Out of control.
Are you able not to be in control? That's the thing. He says that most of the people, when they lose their last piece of controlling, are they able to keep up with it? Are they able to actually not be in control?
Okay.
That's the real question we need to ask, I think, ourselves.
Can we escape control?
Yeah, it's like you're in a jail, but are you actually being able not being in a jail?
Yeah, okay. All right, can we walk out of the prison of our current reality? And what will that be like? Are we ready for it? Nietzsche says no, we're not by and large ready.
It says the majority no.
Yeah, okay.
Some people are very afraid of losing control, so certain drugs would be having a real effect on them, because instead of maybe mellowing out, they start panicking because suddenly they can't control the functions and feelings as they usually do. That is a problem. Too much control is always a problem.
Okay. But we can't, I guess it's like a drug, you can't just go totally cold turkey on control. You need to come off of it slowly. Do people agree with that? That you can't just...
Can you lose control?
What happens when you suddenly walk free? What I mean, did Nietzsche describe some of the problems of suddenly not being controlled?
I think it's just more asking the question than actually analyzing the consequences. I think, it's more about the questions. And it also makes me think about something. Is control necessary? Is religion a form of control which is necessary? And there's a good quote that I have from it's a positive issue. It's a True Detective. I don't know if you saw it. It relies a lot on actually Nietzsche philosophy and stuff.
Right, and, I didn't know that. I have seen a couple of episodes.
And and I think Matthew McConaughey, the detective, comes to a religion gathering, and he says if the only thing that keeps people together is a potential fear of a threat, or if the only thing that keeps people killing each other is a potential fear of a punishment, divine punishment, then I don't know what hope can I have for this world,
Right.
I think that's a good question.
Okay. Come and have a seat on the table and chat. Are you worried about are you scared of divine punishment? Is that what dictates your life? The characters in True Detective, it seems that that's what drives them, the fear of divine punishment. But is it?
Or not so divine punishment, but the same thing, just a police baton and prison or something.
Secular punishment.
Okay. They won't feel not because they value life, but they don't want to go to prison. That is a problem as well.
Okay, so it could be a more basic fear. Okay, so we've got Dan, we've got Sherry, we've got Hollerboy, we've got James, we've got Irini, Rachel, Roman, Cormac.
Dervlo.
Dervlo. Sorry. And I'm Mikey. And we're kind of, it's a Sunday afternoon, we're kind of having a kind of you know, it's about, started off with being about mixed reality, and it turns out that's the only type of reality on offer, really, mixed reality, but it's how you mix it and how you mix it up. But then there's this question about controlling your reality, or your reality being controlled, and then we sort of start talking about churches, or, you know, or I guess large institutions dictating what our reality is. Do we actually need that? That's what Nietzsche and Romans backing Nietzsche up, saying, well, maybe we need to have that sense of control. We're not ready just to walk out the door of control into the wilderness. So that's where we are right now, really. It's a kind of Sunday afternoon philosophical kind of conversation.
Well, I've been having a lot of conversations this weekend about how too much choice is really overwhelming, and actually how control or guidance can be really helpful for even for creative projects. Like if you have a little bit of a guidance at the start, it's a lot easier to come up with something than if you're just set free to do anything at all.
So creatively we need constraints as well. Guidance.
Guidance is not the same as control, like aggressive control. Okay. Guidance is very, very good. And inspiration and guidance.
Okay, so I mean, but where does guidance end and control begin? I mean, especially in the sort of
So guidance is control that you accept.
Right. Okay.
Guidance is suggestive. Guidance gives you a choice. Control doesn't give you a choice.
Okay. Okay. Do we need a bit of guidance in our lives?
Parameters. Some people need parameters. Everyone's different. It's like you say with the creative process, I always set myself parameters, otherwise the task is too big.
What kind of parameters?
Well, I mean, you know, you can do a project about anything, it's all too much, because you can be doing anything with everything. And the whole world is depending on you, so you set yourself parameters, like, it could be like, responding to something particular, or taking a particular theme, you need something, particular material. It's just something to hook off, otherwise you're completely lost.
Right.
Which isn't a bad place to be, but at some point you have to go short, so do something before you move again.
Okay, so can be...
What I always is trying to find a balance for everything, and I suppose guidance kind of helps. But you know, there's one of my favourite films is a film called Koyaanisqatsi, which is an Indian word that means life out of balance. Everything what happened to the native Indians, and you know how they connected to the land, and you know going back to that mixed reality, you know the way humans lived on the planet before. There's a lot more. I think there's one last tribe left that actually haven't damaged the rainforest, and they can't prove that they own. That they're part of the rainforest because they've never left any sign that they lived there. And so I think balance is kind of always when I'm trying to work on projects or kind of because within us, like we talked about before, with millions of explosions of sugar, chemicals, hormones, and so balance within any kind of collaboration is always like I always find the best thing to have some kind of harmony, which I'm sure guidance helps.
Okay. And there's a question, I mean, who around the table? So Rachel is the artist that created this, I'm not going to explain it too much, virtual mixed realities project in V&A. We've got some other artists around the table. I guess I'm just saying that because, you know, I guess we're talking about the creative process, but it's nice to have some actual examples of the creative process around. Is it about balance? Is it about guidance? Is it about something? Process.
It's so difficult because in the sense we can't really do what we want to do anyway because it's so controlled by money and by organisations. So I mean, if I did what I wanted to do creatively, no one would ever shout.
What would that be?
I don't really want to go there. So you're always trying to do as much as you can within the parameters. And it's surprisingly something like that there is a certain amount of freedom, there's a certain amount of intellect there. You actually find with the organisations which are free, they're actually more controlling. So I quite enjoy my experience there.
Okay, so in a way, in this huge institution with sort of procedures and laws, you actually have more freedom within that somehow.
I found that because there's a willingness to discuss. And a lot of organisations who are out there is not a willingness to debate.
Right. Okay.
So that was an eye-opener because I thought I was working in a big institution, but it wasn't. It was just made up of people who have a thirst for knowledge. It's very different working with museum than it was somewhere else.
Okay, so sometimes in an art gallery people don't want to talk, or in an art, what's that?
But sometimes art can be very pretentious. Like, what is an art? Yeah, it's like, and very fake. Like the thing with the AI the other day, and also being in education, teaching, a lot of the things they're teaching, it's quite hard when, they're charging lots of money for it, so everything's become very kind of commercial and pretentious.
So it's working, I guess, who here works in an institution? Rachel, maybe a little bit. Well, I mean, we heard about the museum, and I guess James works in an educational institution, this art school. But you're saying working institution is quite good because what's that?
We occupied some fun institutions. Like we kind of changed the institution from the inside sometimes. Like when you occupy a magistrate's court, then you can create something connected to justice that you'd like to create. That is not the usual way of a court. Occupy the library, that we managed to save by occupation.
So you can, by occupying, you can sort of change the institution?
Yeah, and sometimes if you're lucky and the people like it better that way, then they'll keep it.
Right, okay. Interesting. So, I mean, I guess we're talking about the rules and regulations and kind of hacking those rules and regulations. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're helpful for the creative process. Sometimes they're a hindrance.
It's also control, the whole thing is control. I mean, even if we do a process, they will happen if it is going to suit the practice environment in the end.
Right.
You know, when you're doing something that really is challenging. Goodbye.
Okay. So if protest is controlled, do people agree with that?
It doesn't have to be, But from A to B marches are pretty much controlled.
Have you been on any recently?
No, I'm trying not to. I'm trying to rebel in a creative way and progressive way.
Okay, so you don't think the marches are necessarily the best way to rebel?
No, it's good to show numbers of people who are unhappy with something, but it's a very it's just perpetuating the power of what they're against, basically.
Interesting. Pause for thought there. Okay, so where do we want to go with this conversation? Do we want to talk about power structures? Can they be creative? Can they, and I guess the kind of the creativity as well of like kind of changing the structure. We need to have some kind of structure, probably you would say, Roman. I don't know, I'm just projecting that on you.
No, I guess it's true. I mean, one of the, if you look at history, for example, the Renaissance, one of the best art we have in this world so far. It's maybe not objective what I'm saying, but anyway. It was on a time where all those artists, Leonardo, Michelangelo, who they were working for, for the church. And they had a lot of constraints. But so I guess working on the constraints in a creative way can be actually quite can lead to a lot of great things.
Should we be looking for then the most kind of constraining environments to make our work and that way we can unleash our creativity? Should we be looking for environments where we are constrained to make as creative people?
I think it depends whether are you able to not have constraints? I think very few people do, and also in a creative way. Are you also financially able not to have constraints? That's the reality.
Isn't it, so what you're saying is like you go and find the most aggressive possible regime, and then suddenly you'll create beautiful, like inspirational art, which actually seems to happen, doesn't it? So I don't think you'd still want to go there.
It wouldn't be worth it just for a bit of art to be in that aggressive.
I don't think you look for it, but I think the art made in those places is the most important art because they need to express and they need to talk about it, and that's where it's being repressed. So that's why it's needed so much.
Okay,
but you don't look for it.
Right. Okay. Give us a final thought before you go. Was that it?
I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Okay. All right.
That can lead to the question of why are Western artists making art?
Well, the Lee Wilson when he went.
What's
one of the best exhibitions I've seen recently was the Korean artist Lee Bull, and being employed by a Korean company when I went to South Korea, I was like, wow, I've been hacked. It wasn't very free, it was like a commercial side of a North Korea. But the art they were doing then, because South Korea was a dictatorship up until nearly the 90s.
Right.
But the art she was doing was just absolutely incredible. Like from what I saw, the exhibitions I've been to recently. So I think that sometimes, I'd look back to the UK in the 80s, you know, some of the best art of its time, like comedy or music, it was because people were trying to rebel.
Okay, so that's interesting. So sometimes when there's a bit of an oppressive regime going on, it actually does well for the art, but maybe not the artist. And is it worth it to sort of go into these oppressive places just to make better artwork?
I was going to say that maybe fewer artists turn away from art when they're in those oppressive places because there's more need for them personally to make that art. Because if you're in a place that's quite accepting, then there's less reason to have to make art by being, say, a little bit different or like in various ways.
Okay. I have an idea. Maybe we should create a program, like a virtual reality program of the worst oppressive, fucked up place that can ever exist. And they could exist there in virtual space. And if you're stuck a little bit, you get the creative juices for it, you teleport into this horrible fucking
Okay, so in a way, great virtual reality, we can create an oppressive regime. Yeah.
That's the question. Maybe that's what's already been created.
Right. Okay.
Which is what Tesla said. We're already in that virtual reality.
Right.
Because it's gone so far.
Okay. I mean, have we already made it in a way?
It's not as easy to get rid of it. You can just take your goggles off and escape this reality that's being forced on us. If we get to that point where all the pollution and all these horrible things that we're fighting against are only in virtual reality, like I would map every town to the last cockroach and every horrible thing and the smoke. Maybe you can even smell it in your experience, but it wouldn't harm you. So we could keep all the metropolis type places and maybe the ecological wonderland and just put it on sometimes. Maybe we want to recreate it.
So in a way, we've got a choice of creating an ecological catastrophe in the virtual space, and that would maybe help us not go to the ecological catastrophe in the real space. Or vice versa, I suppose. You can have an ecological catastrophe in the real space and a wonderful wilderness in the virtual space. It's kind of up to you which way you want to do it, really. It's the choice is yours. Maybe not yours personally, but yours collectively as the world. Which one would you prefer, I suppose, is another question. And which one would make the better art as well, is a question. Would you make good art in an ecological nightmare catastrophe zone?
Just running away from the problems and issues that we have in real life by making an imaginary place with imaginary issues. Like, we don't need to do that when we have real issues.
I don't know, what do people think? Would it help us deal with those real issues in the real life?
It gives a safe space for it, I suppose.
What do people think? I mean, have you ever created like a horrible, nasty, like a catastrophe world?
If it's hacked, then that'd be really bad.
So if someone else hacked?
Like if somebody hacks mixed reality, like you mentioned you're in your world right now, mixed reality, if somebody hijacked it or hacked it, then that would be a constructive shit.
I think the Weather Channel started doing mixed reality. Since these tornadoes and hurricanes are coming in too much, it was really cool. So we probably got to the average person much more than okay, there's a category 5 hurricane coming this way, please do this and this. He actually showed how the floods will come, how high it's going to be, how when it's going to pick up a car and just drop it next to you. So he's dropping it on the weatherman basically, and in the end of one of the simulations of a tornado, the whole studio just goes up in the air, the guy runs down in the safe place, and then like, oh my god, there's probably nothing left of the studio right now. And they actually show what kind of destruction this tornado can cause if it comes.
I can see this is the start of a new virtual mixed reality project, this ecological catastrophe zone. It seems to be effective.
There's like, you see on the news actually when there's like forced evacuations that people are like, no, I'm not going to go. Yeah. It sounds quite useful to show them before they decide.
A little bit more realistic.
Yeah, close.
Final thought, when you got, you're about to...
I have to go because it's like I'm feeling a mixed reality here because my thoughts are away.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Try my job. Anyway, what's your final thought?
I don't know. About mixed reality?
Yeah, well, about any of this thing about, do we need the control? Do we need constraints? What makes a good bit of art? Is it like an oppressive regime?
Somehow I feel like I don't need the control in order to feel in control.
Okay.
I mean,
you don't need it from outside.
I want to feel free of control. I mean, I was thinking like Nietzsche said, because exactly said, I'm free of fears, I'm free of hopes. So I'm free. I mean,
okay. To be free of fears and free of hopes is to be free.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, it's being out of control. That's freedom.
Okay. That's interesting. It's a good final thought. Thank you very much. Okay. So we're talking about that state of being free of fears and hopes. Maybe that's the way we want to go. Yeah. I don't know. Do we want to be? Do you look kind of stimulated by that idea?
Yeah, it's good. I think I kind of applied that to my life, honestly. Try not to have too much expectation. So you don't get disappointed, basically.
Yeah, okay.
I think it all comes down to whether you're basically happy with your situation or not. So to me it was more to get rid of like all the projection people try to apply to your life, whether or not you like them.
So it's more about getting rid of other people's hopes and fears than your own, I suppose. Actually, I've just remembered we're supposed to be giving out the Haribo mixes to people. Just does anyone want some sugar to change their reality? We've forgot to give out the cookies to people. Anyway, what's that?
Isn't it like?
Come and have a seat. We're having a kind of slightly philosophical conversation about reality and control. We have got Sherry, we've got Dan, we have got Dervla, and Cormac, and Roman, and Rachel. Come and have a seat, come and have a seat. Well, give us a couple of minutes. There's no time.
When would you say to something
What are you talking about? We could harvest some of these.
I was trying to summarize what we were talking about.
Okay, what were you saying?
So my interpretation of what we talked about was we started kind of with the mixed reality headset, or like, what is reality? What does that mean? Like, and we're kind of like, okay, so I would say to you, like, you live in a different reality if like you have a very different strong opinion or something. It seemed to be like a thing that people said, or like if you were like, there was different things that controlled you. So if you lived in a different set of laws or a different religion, things like that. It was kind of like, that was also considered like this different sense of control. And like, I was thinking that like, okay, well, different things that control you is like a different reality that you live in, right? This is all what I'm thinking. I'm sure like everyone else is different.
I think that's a fair summary of what we've been talking about. I hope that made sense to you.
So it's quite hard to follow what everyone's saying, but
that was a question about whether we need these structures of thought in terms of like our institutions that control us. That are we ready to walk out of the door of control? And the consensus was pretty much no, because we need to have these kind of agreements about what is real and what's not real, how our reality is described. That's where we are basically right now. We've got Rachel, we've got Roman, we've got Cormac, we've got Dervla, we've got Dan, we've got Sherry, what's your name?
Mike.
And I'm Mikey. So this may not make much sense to you right now, but you know, yeah, me too. So that's where we are right now. But I mean, I guess one of the things that came out, which is quite interesting, is that we kind of need, if not control, we need constraints to have, you know, to make creative artwork. And Roman made the point, some of the best art is made in some of the sort of most oppressive environments. You know, working for, what's that?
I used to be a comedian, and comedy is that thrive basically on oppression, and it's coming back. I'm from Hungary, so when I was a comedian, it was still kind of a thing, and then you could see basically anything. You can say whatever the hell you want, and then they started capitalizing on it. It died completely, and now we have an oppressive regime completely taking over, and it's come back. Now there's a cabaret again.
Good for comedy, bad for Hungary, the oppressive regime.
Good for Hungarian comedy, it's coming back now. Oppression just brought back the actual comedy. Well, Theresa May is recently making friends with our wannabe dictator, so probably we're going to be synchronized on the same level.
Okay. Are we familiar with that? Okay, give us a final thought or initial thought. What do you think about all this?
It's too little, sorry. I don't understand what you're doing. Well, it's 10 seconds, so I can't make a sensible contribution, but I wish you well.
Thank you. Thank you. We're all fighting to make sense of this, don't worry, it's not just you. But that's the thing, it's about our shared reality really, and our, thank you Mike, it's about our shared reality, and when it doesn't make sense, it is discombobulating. He didn't even take his free packet of Haribos. We kind of scared him off. But you know, I think that's the point in a way.
That's mostly in London, but probably in the whole country. People are mostly programmed to buy cheap stuff. If you give them free stuff, they run away. But I've been trying a lot, and they usually run away. An old friend started harnessing this programming of idiots who always want to get a bargain or something. So he occupied shops with shop fronts, and he lets them come in, look around, and when they are ready to talk and spend like £1 or £5 or whatever they want to spend, then they are ready for input. Then they will talk to you, they will read the banners, they will be actually ready for input. If you talk to them first, they'll leave. They don't want to be talked to. And if you are chasing them with free presents, then they run away. Once even a kid had to give back the free presents because they were like, here's a £1, we don't want your £1. Okay, give it back, you're out of here.
Okay, so in a way it's quite subversive to have a shop where you give things away. Okay, so you've joined us at an interesting time, although I have discovered that we've actually put the last person to join off because we got too deep too quickly and it made no sense to that person.
He's from the Holochain project, so he can go even deeper than us.
Okay, but I thought I had an inkling, you know.
Oh my God, hello.
Anyway, we've got Sherry, we've got Dan, we've got Dervla, we've got Cormac, we've got Roman, we've got Rachel, and we've got Esther back and Hollow Boy. My name's Mikey, tell us your name.
Mamading.
Mamading, welcome. At the moment we're sort of talking about reality and control. Do we need to be controlled? Do we need to have our sense of reality kind of, the rules kind of put down to us by, you know, something, the institution, the church, the shopping channel, you know, the shopping mall. We just heard from Dan about a very subversive project where you had a shop full of bargains, but actually stuff was getting given away, and that really messed with people's minds because it kind of interrupted their normal reality and their expectations. When they went to the shop, they were only ready really to talk if they were going to be sold something, but at a bargain price. When it was given away, or something else was, I don't really know that much about the project, but it sounds like quite a good way of interacting with people. having some bargains out there just to start a conversation.
They feel like they want something. They're rummaging through a table, they find some completely useless piece of junk, they want to buy it, they feel that it was a bargain, and then they just, they're there. You actually see the person after that. When they ejaculated some money on the table, then they're ready for input. They will actually be ready to be talked to. It's crazy. That's the program, the consumer program in people's lives.
You know, in a way, when you sat down, you were talking about this kind of sense of reality forced upon us, and I suppose that's quite a good example that we are sucked into this reality of like, the commerce, buying and selling, and this, I guess, this kind of subconscious kind of hunting for the bargain is a way that we actually interact with each other most usually. Not by the way, can we give Mandy, do you want some free Haribos? Or if you want, you can pay for them. You don't want sugar. Anyway, that's where we are right now. I don't expect you to jump in right at this moment.
Oh, well, now you're challenging me. Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of the stuff that we sort of take for granted is based in political economy. We think, oh yeah, democracy and capitalism and all of these things are actually, that's just how the world is. Bullshit. All this stuff around us is just how the world is. Bullshit. Everything we look around us right now, this is all designed and built by human beings. Every single bit of it. Yeah? Likewise, our social systems, our economic systems, our political systems, designed and built by human beings. So then the question you have to ask is, who designed these things and what interests they serve? And more particularly, do they serve your interests and the interests of your family, your friends, your community? And if they don't, what are you going to do about it?
I think people around the table would agree with that. Is there a general agreement? There's general agreement. But I think I don't know. What about the shopper that comes into the shops for a bargain? Are they ready to question this whole structure? Can we get them, rather than just seeking for a bargain, to seek for a different way of organising?
That's the only way to get them in. That's what I realized for this friend. Because we've tried everything else, creating really cool experiences and spaces, and it's all for free. They're scared of it. They think there's something wrong with it, or you are trying to convert them to something. Yeah. There is.
Okay. Is this the way that we should be, we should be doing things? Do we need to sort of, in a way, kind of have this sort of kind of shop front agenda? Is that a good way to actually get people to question it?
It's a hack. It's a hack.
Okay, so the question you're asking is, what is the red pill? Because, you see the Matrix, it was not until Neo's given the red pill that things start to get interesting, right?
Yeah.
So, how do we get ordinary people to take the red pill? Well, we don't know what the red pill actually is yet, do we? Because, really, if we're going to be offering people a red pill, we need to have a way of basically off-boarding people from the existing system and onboarding them onto something else. And we don't have that yet. Maybe someone else has, but I don't have it yet. This is something I've been working for a long time. So yeah, I think this is very much a good question to ask. It's a good question to think about. But if anyone says they have a real solid, well thought out answer that they can deliver right now, I wouldn't believe them.
Okay. But in not believing them, are you just kind of like going with the system?
Hell no. No. The thing is, I think a lot about how we're going to move things forward.
Okay.
So it's like, until we get to a place where we have enough of the pieces in place where we can actually say, yeah, this is the way forward, we can actually move people, we've got something to move people to and say, hey, this is a better option, you have more fun, better quality of life, all that kind of stuff, that you actually means something to you, then you can get from the existing system. But why the hell should they try and buy into anything?
Going back to this red pill analogy, Neo didn't have any of that offered. There was no, it was kind of, he wasn't offered a more fun or better quality of life, he just offered something.
Yeah, come on, that's a movie and he's on the hero's journey, right?
Okay. So in reality the red pill has to offer all of these things. Is any clues about what this red pill, what could make up, maybe not the whole formula, but what could make up some of these things in the red pill?
I hate the notion of a red pill because it is the notion that there's just one really easy solution for things and there's never an easy solution. And actually what it is all good change is incremental change, and like that's the only way any change will be lasting. Revolutions are always like revolutionized. Like you need to do like incremental, small, slow, painstaking, like irritating change, and that's how things actually get better. And that's the only way there is, really.
Okay, so the notion of a pill in itself is kind of slightly counterproductive because that's too easy in a way. Yeah.
It's kind of like, I like the fact that you said that nothing's too easy. And I think one of the hardest parts, and the only way, I don't personally believe in revolution and group of revolution. Just look at history. What happened in the Arab Spring, what government they have now, it's probably even worse than what they used to have. After French Revolution, it was a nightmare. And it took a lot of, yeah, which one? It took a lot of years before actually having a kind of a democracy.
Yeah.
I think they,
Soviet Union, Dan was talking about as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't really believe in the red pill because it's like kind of something like from the outside coming to you and kind of like giving you. I don't believe in this. I think the hardest part and the only way to change things is to revolutionize yourself. That's it. Okay. It's just
to revolution of the mind.
Yeah, not just oneself.
Not just the mind.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the hardest part.
Okay. Can you give us any clues about how to revolutionize oneself?
I think it comes with understanding yourself, understanding an education, understanding what are the different elements that makes us act on sometimes irrational behavior and trying to counteract.
Okay, I'm going to come to Sherry.
I think being the observer will better enable you to experience more and learn more. Yeah, it gives you an opportunity to see a new perspective.
Okay, so being an observer, learning, there was lots of hands up. There was Dave looking to you in a second.
Okay, so the point you're making about understanding yourself and that kind of thing, I think that's important and useful, but it's incomplete because we have blind spots, and the only way that we can actually even get a notion of those blind spots because other people point them out to us, and often it's people who are.
Can you give us an example of a blind spot?
Okay, fine. If it's a guy, it might be their sexism. If it's a white person, it might be their racism. I mean, those are kind of blunt instrument things, they're isms, but it's also things about not necessarily being empathetic to people, or being present to what's going on for them, what their pain is or whatever, not understanding what people in other positions or other classes or whatever are coming from. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but the point is we have our blind spots. I mean, okay, I'm going to fess up. I don't like it when I feel like I'm going to be criticised or challenged in some way, and I can get really sensitive about that. And that's not helpful if I'm getting reactive rather than actually listening and present. So this is it. So the thing is, we are social animals, right? We're social animals for a reason. We need other people around us. And one of the key functions that the people around us who are closest to us can serve is to actually reflect our blind spots back to us in a way that is like not judging, but as you're saying, actually that's not okay, and you kind of just shift and move on from that, and you can grow out of that.
All interested,
That was exactly almost going to be my point, just that if we focus so much on the individual, while that's an important aspect, that's not the only thing. It's so important to have your community, your friendships, like that's where people learn the most. Like community really is the center of how you're going to change things in the world as well.
Okay, so we've got you facing the table. I'm going to try at the same time as summing up the conversation. I'm trying to explain what's going on. We have got Rachel, we've got Rowan, we've got Cormac, we've got Derville, we've got Dan, we've got Sherry, we've got Melody. Boy and Esther. And what's your name? Caitlin. My name's Mikey. At the moment we're sort of talking about, we started off talking about reality and how to sort of hack reality, let's just say. And then we sort of talked about this idea of like the revolution. Do we want the revolution, or is our reality kind of determined by a kind of capitalist consumerist paradigm? And how do we escape that paradigm? Is it through revolution or taking the red pill, as Mamadine said? Is it through the revolution of one's own self? Is it through some kind of like community of change, or digital revolution, says Dan? And that's why what's that?
It's a digital red pill that James talked about if you can read. It's the app that you can download. It's a red pill that you have to actually look at and swallow, and then you go into this crazy virtual reality experience on your phone.
Okay, so there is a virtual pill. We've got a new face to the table. What's your name?
Clara.
Clara. I'm not going to do all that again because I've just done it. Hopefully you'll pick up on the, basically, revolution of the self. Hopefully you heard all that, did you? Okay. That's good. That's good. I don't think my brain could take something that up all over again. So where do we want to go with this conversation? Do we believe in this kind of change through community? Can we escape this kind of capitalist consumerist paradigm without revolution? Composting.
Yeah, that's what I do recently. I try to compost the system, try to think like a mushroom and not like a human being. I leave all kind of ideology behind and try to do what the mushrooms do.
Think like a mushroom.
Extract all the good nutrients from this dying horrible system and inject it into a more working parallel.
Do mushrooms live well?
I don't think they have this kind of idea of living well enough. They are like some kind of a natural internet between plants, trees. They are the internet. We're just recreating it with their own technology.
So compost the system, think like a mushroom, is this the way? I don't know, what do people think on this side of the table?
I think they'll never be escaped.
No? We won't be able to escape this paradigm. No? Okay. Yeah.
Because it's not in certain people's interest, so they're always short story.
Okay.
And people fighting between each other. There's no will to change.
Okay. So we can't.
I know that sounds pessimistic.
So in a way, give it to the mushrooms rather than think like a mushroom. Yeah. Okay. I mean, are we able to escape? Are we able to sort of like, throw off these chains of this consumerist paradigm?
So it feels like the biggest failure we actually have right now is the collective failure of imagination. Right. I mean, the Occupy focus is about another world as possible.
Yeah.
Well, actually, a whole bunch of other worlds are possible. But it's like, okay, out of all the possible futures, what are the ones? What is the one we actually want to navigate towards? I mean, the default future sucks, which is why nobody's happy because they don't want to live in that future. But we're not really looking enough at what the possible futures are, and then actually saying, actually, you know what? That's the future I actually want to live in. I want to work towards, and I'm going to take the steps I can to actually make it happen and find others who actually want to help me, actually make it happen with me.
So for you, it's about a vision, about having a kind of compelling vision of a better future.
That certainly is a big step.
Okay. I saw a hand. I was over here. Okay.
I think it's interesting because I sort of naively believed that everyone wanted peace. We all want a peaceful future, but people don't want peace, and that was an eye-opener. I mean, look at Britain, how much we're manufacturing arms and all this shit. I mean, it's in no one's interest, all the people up there. They don't want peace.
On the fifth floor? People up there, this is to you. Do you want peace? Or are you happy to keep manufacturing arms? Do you want peace?
Arms dealers in the
Okay, so do we want to change? Is it about the kind of the compellingness? Is that a word? Of the vision?
This is what we have to use to create that compost pile that I was talking about. Like all these really cool technologies, just like mixed reality, it goes through the military and industrial complex, and porn. Always, there's no exceptions. And then the average user will get it and start playing it when the price goes down a bit. But that's how it starts. That kind of shows what kind of reality we're forced to live in when the army has the first dibs and the porn industry. But thanks to them,
porn seconds.
but thanks to those horrible things, you do get the technology in the end. So in some mad way, it does help in the end to create all this horrible shit. So at least we can compost something and create something better, and not to recreate these problems, because I've seen problems being created from goodwill, and now I know what to look out for. Not to create the same problem.
So if those two things always shape what we use for technology, should we not always be talking about them, and it should always be in the public eye and open discussion and easy to talk about those two things?
What two things? You mean the army and porn?
Yes.
Okay. Shouldn't we be talking about an army and porn war? Hang on a second.
I can't remember. I got distracted by the army and
Well, Dan was kind of saying composting, it's the army first, porn second, other users third. Is that?
Well, that is the history of technology. That is when you look into it. But I don't have a point to make.
The point is really this is the point where we've done so much damage anyway, we should learn how we proceed. Hence the lack of engineering of the tech. So the damage has been done. So the point is like so great, we've developed technology that's helping.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Agreed, society is fucked. But we can't accept that society is fucked. We just can't accept it. We need to just push back against it however we can, whenever you can. I find this notion of military porn complex interesting. Definitely needs more elucidation. And it's worth noting, the lack of transparency around military stuff, especially things like military spending and so forth, is a source of a lot of evil. And again, I totally accept the point that the porn is contributing to enormous problems, both for women and for men in society. That's a big challenge. So and we'll also probably need to have more conversation about that.
We can go anywhere, it's kind of up to you. We can talk about the military, we can talk about porn, we can talk about the military porn complex. It's kind of up to you where you want to take this conversation.
I think those topics are exhaustively covered in other media, so I'd really like to take the conversation somewhere else. And one thing I really noticed that, I don't know how many of you have been to the Mozilla Festival before, but you're talking about our technological future, and one thing I've noticed this year seems to be more subdued than in previous years, and I wonder whether that reflects a wider lack of optimism about our technical future that is different from prior years.
It's something, you know what, at the end of yesterday's session, that's exactly what everyone was saying, exactly this point. So I think it is, in a way, the elephant in the room, that our techno-optimism has become techno-pessimism. And what is going on there is that...
So is that just because of current events? If it is, it's like people...
Do you feel that it's a bit more subdued? Do you feel a bit less technically optimistic?
A bit more sad about recent events and things, but if it is about recent events, then is it like when you've got no clear focus, you're choosing lots of breadth? When you've got clear focus, you're more subdued in that, like, you're trying to solve that one problem? Is that what? I'd like to send it back to you, but he's got his hand up.
Well, I think it's for the whole table, really, and it is. I'm really glad you brought up that point, because it is something that's really been on people's minds this year.
This is a kind of a biggie, really. I think part of the problem is that, we've been sold a bunch of stuff, the people who are the tech leaders, people running things like Microsoft and Google and all these kind of things, and Facebook, have sold us this notion of a future that's created by tech that's going to help us really drive society forward. And the reality is proven not to be the case. If anything, our new tech, these new tech barons are basically new robber barons, just finding different ways of extracting money from people and from government that the old robber barons couldn't, and doing it in a way that's actually much more corrosive and detrimental to society than even the old robber barons. I mean, if we look at basically what the actual real world impact of Facebook is on society, in terms of political discourse and that kind of stuff, even things like, this is a relatively small thing, Google Plus. There's a whole platform that was kind of offered as a place where people can discuss and share and all that kind of stuff. And it's now being taken away because the corporate overlords have decided, actually we're not making any money off of this, it's not doing what we need, so we're going to get rid of it, despite the people it actually is serving and who are benefiting from it. So the thing is, they're in it purely for their own self-interest, and they line their own pockets, and they're not actually about helping drive society forward. And if anything, right now they're actually helping drive society into a crisis.
So is it have we suddenly kind of realised this year, or what's
Okay, so we were sold this notion of tech as a panacea, okay? Yeah. Which, you know what, there might have been some truth in that. Problem was, from day one, that potential was already poisoned because of the whole venture capital funded model of Silicon Valley and the Californian ideology and anarcho-capitalism and libertarianism that all goes with that, which is not conducive of actually creating cohesive societies. And that's what's going on right now in the real world. If anybody's paying attention, you can actually see our societies are actually falling apart, not coming together.
So the seed was planted from the start. But I mean, there is this question about why this year there's this sudden kind of feeling about it, don't you?
So I've been up in the youth zone, and if you spend any time with those young people, you'd get a lot of that optimism back, because it's not like set in stone that everything's going to awful places. Like, talk to those young people about their ideas for tech, and all of the amazing ideas, like things like that instead of terms and conditions where we read, it should be a video so that you actually get that information in your head. Like that sort of thing that is like obviously, but like the young people know what you're talking about. So I would just say, like, if we go in with that mindset of it's all going badly, like it does get quite subdued, but you need to come and find the places where there is optimism, like communities where there's lots of good things happening. Like those people are screaming and happy, hopefully. So, like,
it doesn't sound like stress.
Exactly.
Realistic. It's not being negative. If things are going badly, and they are going badly, we have to talk about them.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I mean, I find a lot with the young people, it's very much politics like. They don't really realise that they're not really delving into what is happening.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I mean, what do people think? Are we? Maybe we should get some young people around the table. Young people, we need you here, just to be a bit more optimistic. Okay, what's the final thought though before you go?
For those of you fighting a good fight, keep it up. And for those of you who are watching the sidelines, consider how you might help out a bit more. All right, cheers. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Okay, so where do we go from here? Do people? I mean, is it right to you know? I don't know. West, you want to say something? Or you're not? What's that? No, you want to say?
Yeah, I want to say.
Yeah.
People are going to die, but it doesn't matter how you're going to die, in which world. And as soon as you're alive, you should make this world better, and you should make a better world, but not like the Ravensbourne Corporation. If you know what it is.
The what?
The Ravensbourne Corporation.
What is that? Okay.
Yes. So the make better world is a motto of that company.
Yeah. Okay.
So we should make this world better, but not in that way.
Okay. All right. I mean, do we need this sort of sense of dystopia to be able to create the opposite of that, or to be able to, you know, because we were talking about this earlier on in the virtual space, this kind of like ecological catastrophic, oppressive space which helps us to come up with better ways of solving the problem.
It does, but it would be really nice to actually fix the planet and put all these things into virtual reality, and they could be part of education. That you really want to don't go there. Not too many people would want to exist in that kind of reality, especially if you experience it as the person who's suffering it. Like everybody, like the hungry people want to go back to a monarchy or something. They think that's good, but it's good if you're the king. It's not really good if you're not the king.
So, I mean, do you think there should be a kind of monarchy virtual reality in Hungary just to show people what it's like? Would that work?
That would put them off in 1 second. If you can play with the king maybe, and you can play with the not king, and then you're gonna suck every time you're not the king, probably.
Okay, so yeah, maybe this is the answer. I mean, maybe if capitalism and consumerism went completely online and not in the real world, then that would give extra space in the real world to just do more fun things. I don't know. Would it work? I mean, it's kind of already happening without pastries.
So are you saying that you can like opt into capitalism online and you can choose a different system on a different platform online and everyone else just sits around?
Maybe it could work.
That sounds interesting.
Could you have different political structures online that you could choose to be part of?
I think that would be an option actually, because peace never lasts so long. And if we do manage to learn how to recreate the planet into a living standard, then there would be trouble again. But if people would get this program through their education to see how really bad it can be, with what kind of power we have over things on this earth, and once we already messed it up so much that it created a cascade effect of mass extinction, and we fixed it maybe, hopefully, then I would actually, I would love to see some horrible messed up capitalist vision in virtual reality. And when you feel that it's, oh my god, this is horrible, then you just take it off, look at the tree, and I'm happy.
I'm not sure whether you were talking about a virtual game that you play in terms of looking at capitalism, or whether you're talking about actually, subscribing to different systems through virtual systems. But I'm just going to be the practical person and say, okay, great. So if we all subscribe to different, fundamentally economic or social systems or organizations. So if you have virtual nations instead of ones that are bounded by land borders, who deals with the roads and the infrastructure and the pipes? I think fundamentally it comes back to a lot of that for me is the practical issues of you still have to, as a neighborhood, as a small unit, a city, a bigger unit, whatever it is, someone has to be in charge of administering some of those connected infrastructure pieces. And that's the piece that I think that's really lost if people are like, I'm just going to belong to the nation of whatever it is, and not think about my neighbors essentially.
Okay, so we're going to still need sewerage in this.
I totally agree. So imagine that we want to go to Mars or colonize another planet, but we can't because we're not there yet. It's quite funny how all the sci-fi movies, like from the 80s or 70s, that we should be in space 2001, like the Space Odyssey. So imagine we don't have any capitalists or no problems at all. We would have been on Mars already in 2001 if there's no problems.
Okay, so it's kind of like a failure of our society. We still haven't got to Mars. We should have been there by 2001. According to Space Odyssey. We've got new faces here. What's your name?
Elise.
We've got Hollowboy, we've got Esther, we've got Caitlin, we've got Rachel, we've got Raymond, we've got Cormac, and Deborah, and Sherry. My name's Mikey. At the moment we're kind of talking, it's kind of about this thing like, have you been to Mozfest before?
Yes.
This is a bit more subdued. It's partly, I think, because of the failure of the Jubilee line, but also there's this question about, have we gone from being...
Infrastructure is important. Infrastructure is important.
But there's this question about, have we gone from techno-optimism to techno pessimism? And are we we've sort of suddenly realised that all of these great platforms and great innovations are actually oppressing us and not actually a force for good in society. So that's the conversation at the moment. Dervla over here mentioned that some of the younger people are a bit more optimistic. But that's where we are. I mean, and then we're sort of like, do we actually need this kind of horrible dystopian scenarios to actually think a bit better? And then Oliver over here just mentioned 2001. We should have been at Mars by 2001, so we're well behind already. So that just goes to show the failure of our capitalist system. That's where we are. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Esther.
We haven't got to the Mars for 2001, but the BFR is almost ready and it's going to go within 2 years.
Yeah.
The BFR, you know what is? Big fucking rocket.
The what?
The BFR is actually the big alien rocket developed by Elon Musk.
Right.
It's almost ready to go.
Okay.
It will go within 2 years.
Yeah. Okay.
To the Mars.
Okay, so we're late, but we're not that late.
Well, to be honest, I don't care about going to Mars. And I hope that we stop spending billions just for America to show off that she can do something or it can do something regarding that and spends it in another way. How come do we want to fucking conquer space where we should actually fix this planet, this space here? So I think it's very secondary. There's probably good stuff of going to space, like in terms of scientific discoveries, to cure disease or make advances in technologies, but I don't think it should be the focus. Yeah, that was my point.
Okay, yeah, that was very well made.
I think also when we were saying, if in the past when we were saying that we wanted to go to Mars in 2001, now we have more understanding of why we can't go to Mars and why it's not as easy, because now we have the technology to be able to do that, and we didn't on the planet.
So it's a kind of learning curve, really.
Yeah, because we don't. Then they didn't know the consequences, but because we've had technological advancements, we know why it's different.
Okay, so actually it is progress. It just looks like the other way around. And sometimes progress can look kind of backwards, I suppose. Draw that from but I mean, are we progressing? Are we actually making progress in terms of, are we fixing the problems on this planet? Roman says not really.
Oh, yeah. I like the point that you were saying that this year things are a bit changing. People are taking a step back and looking at all the technologies that we made up and what are the different consequences on our life. I'd like to make I don't know if you are familiar with Marshall McLuhan, he's a philosopher about media, and one of his quotes says that everything we do, we create is an extension of us. So the clothes are an extension of our skin. A tool, a sword, a spoon is an extension of our hand. A book is an extension of our vision. And the electronic circuits, the algorithm, the tech is an extension of our brain. So basically, it's very different than the other tools because it's kind of something that can be autonomous. So I like to have this kind of metaphorical vision in sense of why do we change? Why our perspective is changing? It's because I believe that this technology that were born after the 50s or the beginning of the 20th century, it's like we give birth to someone else. You know, it's like parents, humanity gives birth to a new thing, and we kind of like look at as a kid. It's like, oh, super cute, super nice, love it. It's so joyful. Oh, you can do a lot of stuff with it. And then at some point you can realize that it can also become a freaking douche or an asshole. And then you realize that, you know, as a parent, your kid can become a douche. And then you're just realizing, you're like, oh wow, maybe we should probably change some stuff about that. I think this is what's happening now with technology.
So technology is in its adolescent phase and it's become a little, showing signs, worrying signs of being a douche or an asshole. Do people agree with that analysis? is technology in this adolescent phase? We're a little bit worried that it's, going out drinking and not saying where it is.
So what kind of mechanisms do we have to encourage technology to get back on the right track then? Like if I had children and they were doing what I didn't want them to do, I would ground them or give them some kind of corrective measure. So what do we have in our toolkit that can help us do that?
What would you favour? Would you ground technology? Would you say, right,
I think
take away its iPhone? That's not really a punishment for teenagers, isn't it? Take away their iPhone.
So, I think whether we can use technology to get rid of wars, like connecting people much more with peace. Because if you know your black neighbor or your Muslim neighbor are not your enemy, because they are human beings like you, because you are talking with someone with another side of the planet daily with this, and you can see them in your room even if they are in 2,000 miles away. Then you don't want to attack that country, and you can pressure your government to not attack them because your friend living there. You can use the technology for this.
So there is a strong kind of peaceful side to this, and it's about the connectivity. Are you off, Roman? Final thought? Are you off, Katie? Final thought? We need final thoughts from you. Maybe it's time actually, because I've had a head full of ideas. Final thoughts for everybody. Oh, we've got a new face at the table as well. What's your name?
I'm Victor.
Victor, welcome. We're just going to get a final thought from these people leaving.
So yeah, I'm going to reply. Maybe, if we see technology as one of our key, this can be a lot of bad things, but maybe they can teach us something about ourselves, and this is what's going to happen, I think. Maybe we invent an AI that would be so smart, and if we want actually something smart, that will teach us how to behave and not to be assholes and take care of our planet. So that's the hope, the only hope I have.
Okay, so perhaps technology could evolve to actually teach us not to be assholes. Thank you, Roman. Thank you.
I couldn't agree more, and I think a really interesting area of development is what's called affective technology, so technology that deals with how people feel, or technology that itself can feel emotion, and what would that do for our ability to put empathy within technology that we're building. So I think that's a really interesting future area for development.
Okay, so start to get effective with our emotions. Yep.
We already know, we just don't do it.
Okay, so we know we've got ideas, but they just
we
don't
know how
do
to make things better. I mean, as I said, it's just not real to do them. You should stop making art, you should behave better. So we can't enforce this now by blend technology, which is in a sense controlled by humans, and don't know when to do it anyway.
Yeah, so it's not...
I mean, it's no surprise, and shit will carry on. So.
It's not a lack of ideas, or it's not a lack of understanding, it's just a lack of will from whoever's in control of this stuff. So, capitalism.
Capitalism and patriarchy, well on the way.
Okay, dismantle capitalism and the patriarchy. Victor, you've kind of come in, and I'm kind of just soliciting really the final thoughts, just because I've got a head full of ideas now. But basically, the main sort of thrust of this whole conversation has been started off about reality, and can we control reality? Is it controlling us? Is there even such a thing as reality, mixed reality? Then we moved on to talk about institutions and constraints, and then we start talking about actually this sense of, is technology helping us, or is it actually making things worse? And that's the kind of, because this year, I don't know, have you been to Mozfest before?
No.
Well, but this year it's a bit more subdued than normal, and we're wondering if it's because of a sort of sense that all of these social media platforms, all these things are actually creating more problems than solutions. So that's kind of where we are right now. And, I guess Rachel there who's just gone and said, we know the answers to these things, we just need to put them to practice. Okay, so anyway.
People creating the shit, not the technology, it's just a tool.
Okay.
So I have a final word.
I think we're going to get a final thought from everybody here. Sorry, Victor, but this is the way it goes.
I just have to go because for what I have written before. So technology is not a friend, not an enemy. Technology is a tool to do with what you want with it. So just learn how to use the technology, how to use everything, because knowledge will make you
Are people learning the right things about technology? Are they really learning how to use it in a better way?
Not always. Learn more. Learn everything. And teach everything.
What's a good thing to learn? Let's get practical. What could you learn to use technology in a better way?
Anything. Really, anything. Learn how the world working around you.
Okay. Thank you.
Actually, it's a wonderful talk, and hopefully, what happens next in the next chapter of the future.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Certainly looking forward to the future.
With technology, there's only a certain point you can get to where it becomes kind of, if a human wants to spread it to other people what their beliefs are, if they rely on technology to do that, there's only a certain point they can get to for the.
What happens after that? Are we in the hands of artificial intelligence, or is it just?
Or if you want to teach people not to do this, and you want the technology to do it, someone will have to make the technology to teach people how to do that, but it's only if that person isn't perfect themselves.
So we need, in a way, we need to be up for this change too. Okay.
It always comes down to intention. What's your intention of anything, of acting?
But can we actually change the world's intention? Can we sort of get off with this kind of...
It keeps changing all the time. But people are suggestive, so whatever is being suggested in their heads will take root somehow. So at the moment they're being tuned into a really, really horrible reality where they have to be afraid of each other, they have to compete, they have to chase the dragon, chase the money. And they learn how all the technology that they have can be used against them. But there's of course another side of the coin. And still it's kind of light that technology is for our betterment and it's for humanity and it's for science and whatever. And that's what we agreed on at some point, that science will serve humanity and will serve living creatures on this planet and knowledge. It's not happening at the moment. If you look up the March for Science, that's actual scientists revolting against the system and they are saying really interesting stuff. I've never seen this in my life, and the second day after the March for Science, the historians said that this never happened in history. That's a new...
So scientists are getting out on the street?
Yes, there is some kind of hope at least, because this is real. That when Trump started chucking out people from NASA and messing up all these institutions, that the actual scientists came out and they started revolting. So there's another platform for revolting. It's not your average evolution, it's geeks. Yes.
Just like Elise says, the people have to be the ones to make the technology change. Technology is not just going to change by itself. And with these marches, there is hope. Like, there are people clearly who want these changes. So it's just each of our responsibilities to do something to do that, to find communities who want to help and to help.
So I think the overarching thing was like that people wanted to change other people, and there's lots of talk of community. I think that's just ganging up on people and shouting at them. And maybe it usually ends up, unfortunately. I think it's the only way is really empathise with the person and find something to convince them to do a way of understanding.
Okay, so more empathy, less shouting at people.
Indeed.
Okay. Final thought?
I wasn't really here for a lot, but what this gentleman said, I agree that technology, and what Derek said, technology is not going to change by itself, and humans use a tool. Technology is not the beast, the humans are the beast.
Okay, so we just need to learn, use that technology better and make it more compelling. Thanks very much, everybody. It's been a very thought-provoking and philosophical Talkaoke. I definitely need some drinks now. Thanks everyone for coming to Mozfest, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the festival. Thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause.